with him a little bit in the chat room, but you're artist in residence for this month, and our first artist in residence that we've ever had. So do you want to just tell us a little bit about you and your background, where you came from, who you are?
Yeah, well, first off, I'm just really excited to be here. I want to thank Suzanne and all the Dunrovin community for kind of letting me come here and hang out for a month or so.
We're excited to have you.
Well, so going back, so I was born and raised in California, just south of there, 30 miles or so. And I went to undergrad at San Francisco State and kind of did a lot of time around California and in the western United States. And then I came to graduate school in Missoula, Montana, and just finished up a year or so ago.
All right. What made you decide to come to the University of Montana?
Yeah, well, I primarily go back to art-related things. My focus at the time was more ceramic-oriented, and so I wanted to find a good university to foster that. And Montana actually is kind of number one clay state in the United States, with the Archie Bray Foundation in Helena, Montana, the Red Lodge Clay Center in Red Lodge, Montana, the Clay Institute in Missoula, and then both the University of Bozeman, Montana.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The University of Montana. So kind of 5 of these major clay organizations happening in the state, and so people come here to be educated here, and then end up staying here, and so there's this community clay folks. And then the second reason, and it kind of brings me into essentially larger ideas of what I'm doing here, is that the University of Montana is interdisciplinary program, which means that it's not necessarily medium-specific. So if I come in making ceramics, I don't necessarily need getting a ceramics degree or have to have make work out of it. And so the work, and we're going to talk more about that, I'm sure, soon, is cultural and multimedia type work, and so that was really fostered and supported at the university.
So you came for clay, but you have since kind of diverged your focus a little bit away from clay, because you still do clay. I think
that is a legitimate response, but I knew before I came here that I wanted to do other things, so I was looking for a supportive place for that.
So, and the art that you do now, you want to tell us about that and what you've been fostering at the university?
Sure. Well, the university, I never know to look at the camera. This is new for me.
Yeah.
Look at the camera, or look at you.
Cool. Yes, sure. What's up?
Can you get like a foot further apart? Because we're getting,
some see-through. Then I might get a wet rug. Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, I think that'll be better. Try it and I'll let you know. Just pause after we talk for a second.
Okay. So tell us,
thank you.
Tell us about your art. What you came to the University of Montana to do and to learn about, and where you've gone with it.
So I just got my MFA, which is the Master's of Fine Arts, and during a master's program, it was a 3-year program, kind of blocked 2 and 3, and I knew I wanted more time. And so a 3-year program is what they offer here. And one thing there's many things you learn in graduate school, but you learn to focus, but you also kind of learn to potentially find a voice and a real passion of what you want to make. And so going back to where I was born and live, California, goes back to work that I made, my thesis work last May, as well as what kind of bringing me what I'm making it now. And so,
would you see some of those pictures that we put?
A little bit.
Okay.
So some couple of those images were of landscape with a kind of a singular blue pillar form, and those were found or made during like a road trip prior to my thesis kind of research. So as a child, we would as I had an older brother, my folks, we would load into our Volvo station wagon, 83 Volvo station wagon, and actually verse the western states, camping and going to national parks and so forth. And so a lot of my influence for the work is the automobile, but more in particular, the window within a structure, a car or even a building, and looking out and having the architectural form from the car or from a building framing landscape.
Uh-huh.
And so I'm interested in exploring how we perceive space through that. And so that brings me to kind of some of the work that I'll be making here.
You want to touch bases on, what you're planning on making at Dunrovin?
Well, we've talked about being here for about 5 weeks.
Yeah.
And I've mentioned a few projects that I'm interested in exploring, and I think a lot of those will be worked on. But even just sitting here today is kind of number 2 day, and I'm still kind of moving stuff down from Missoula and some schools and their kind of projects. This landscape's gorgeous here, and I'm really excited to spend time with the space. Get to know you, get to know the dogs, get to know the horses a bit more. And I think all of that's going to influence what I make, where I select the work. And so I'm really excited to make and be fairly intuitive in my process of making, and then have a conversation with everyone that's watching as I make, and maybe that will make more sense. But from the blog, you see a few images of past work. And so a lot of my work is architectural, I feel, formal, minimal, and talking about ideas of our influence within landscape and how we kind of understand it.
So it's just gonna go along, and depending on the influence of the persistency of the dogs and the community, who knows what direction it'll take.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really excited to be here.
Yeah.
And I'm constantly thinking about exactly what I'm doing here. I know we have scheduled a little on-camera work next Tuesday, 2:30.
Yep.
And so I'm really excited to kind of next few days really get some things in order and kind of have today, or not today, the first show
right.
of kind of what kind of process is.
Yeah. Yeah, and we're kind of planning on, maybe every Tuesday, Thursday at 2:30, just kind of check in with you and see where you're at and what's happening and what's changed.
Right.
Yeah. So you've been here, you said about 2 days now. You got here, Sunday?
Yeah.
Did you come down this weekend at all?
I did not.
No, okay,
No.
yeah. What have you been doing in the last few days?
Well, as you see from some of my images, I'm a little particular and fairly clean with my forms and my work. And so I've been just kind of tidying up the workspace that where I'm working in a garage that has a lot of tools, and it's definitely like a work garage where people are working in it. So I just kind of organizing a bit and getting ready for a workspace for me, and also had some pre-made forms that I've made over the years, and I'm planning on taking some of those forms and cutting them up, reassembling them, maybe putting new paints or different materials on them, and placing them in this landscape. And so I've been also just bringing them down from Missoula.
Yeah.
So far that I was kind of schlepping things back and forth.
Yeah. Do you feel like you're ready to start creating the spaces the way you want it, and you have at Dunrovin what you were wanting, or?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I'm excited about it. I'm excited to talk to you more if things come up that I need. But, the work is maybe still a little rigid and particular, which I think is true with my work, but I also think I'm pretty relaxed and flexible. And so those two things kind of, again, I'm just really excited to be here working and seeing how the Dunrovin Ranch operates. And I know in the winter it operates potentially quite differently than the activities happen this summer. But I want to hopefully kind of blend to some degree, blend in, and with what happens here and what happens to it.
Yeah, well, we're very excited for this opportunity and having you here and seeing what happens with your art and what comes of everything. So,
good.
Thanks. Thanks for being our experiment.
I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, we'll be back in on chat, so if you have any other questions for Tyler, we'll be chatting for a few minutes, and we'll check in with you next week on Tuesday.
A couple questions.
Oh, okay, yeah, question.
Okay, well, we're ready.
Everyone wants to know if you are going to hold any stickman improvement drawing classes while you're out here, and Kukui thinks that you should try and incorporate the land physically into it.
Man improvement.
Well, I'm not sure what the stickman improvement means, but I'd be interested to hear more about that. I do a pretty good stickman myself. You know, and I don't want to brush that question away if we need to go into that more. But the second question, I'm not exactly sure what it means by incorporating the landscape or the land.
Could you repeat Kukui's question, Mackenzie? Can you repeat Kukui's question?
Kukui just said that you should try and figure out how to incorporate the landscape into it physically. Kukui, if you have any clarifying details, just let us know. Let me know in chat, and I'll let them know.
Yeah, so I'd love to hear clarifying, but I like, I'm not as interested in manipulating the landscape, digging a hole or other things you could do with the landscape. I'm interested in seeing what's pre-existing spaces. So within this ranch, man or humans have already fenced up, delegated certain areas for horses, humans, dogs, other animals, put erect buildings for dinner parties and ranch equipment and so forth. Places to stay dry, and so we've already kind of delineated and manipulated the landscape already, which fascinates me. And so what I'm interested in doing is taking these kind of pre-existing artwork that people have already worked on in this space, and maybe potentially frame it with my work, and maybe add with it. I don't know if you can see behind this, but there's this great, what's it called?
Riparian.
Riparian.
It's a riparian area, yeah.
And my understanding is that it floods some seasons and it dies out some seasons. I know that the camera can't get down there, but what's interesting to me is there's this kind of desolate, untouched feel to the space, but also this ever-changing environment because of the natural elements that are natural.
The river.
Factors.
Yeah.
The river. Really. Affect it. And so that fascinates me as well. So I'm excited to continue a conversation about that. That's really the right thing now.
Yeah. To that land comment you had made last week when we were here, giving you the tour of the space, is that our trees in the south pasture here, we have put fences around them to fence the horses out from injuring the trees while they were growing. But you made the comment that it looks like we fenced in the tree, and then the tree couldn't escape. So it's just, things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I like kind of fun spatial game in my head.
Yeah.
So, we're animated films or Lord of the Rings and things like that, where the trees are alive, walk, and I think that back to every living thing has a place and has some think it's interesting how we all live together.
Yeah. Yeah. Any more questions, Mackenzie?
All right. Are you going to be getting on chat, instant chat, either following up your organizations or at different points? And they're excited to. All right.
So this is all new to me. This interview.
Right.
Here's new to me. Online, definitely is.
Yeah.
I'm as of right now, I'm kind of planning on having most of my time this 2:30 time, Tuesdays and Thursdays, and it sounds like a chat prior between chat prior for a few minutes or 10 minutes or 15 minutes or something like that, and then a chat afterwards.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to be here. I'm excited to make work and understand what's happening here and have exciting work for myself. But I'm also really excited to talk to the community and make sure myself is available for the community. So if it seems like chatting goes on afterwards, right now I'm really excited to engage that.
Yeah, and, like your art that kind of evolves as you create it, our Dunrovin community has been evolving as we've created this community and added people to it, and, we don't know where this artist and residency is going to go with the community at this point, because sometimes we just respond to what people want, and, so it's all evolving.
That sounds
Yeah. All right, so Tyler will be in on chat here in just a moment, and then we'll see you. We'll be back on camera next week, 2:30 on Tuesday.
Sounds great.
All right.
Bye. See you soon.
Okay. Getting snow just on my head.
Yeah. Perfect.
What's that?
Thanks for being back at home.
Yeah, well, yeah, that was really good. All right, we're all done. So.